Ezon wo Nyesom Wike, Ayo Payoshe, Senator Samuel Anyanwu, Honorable Umar Bature, Adeyemi Ajibade, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Senator Mao, Honorable Austin Nwachukwu, Abraham Ama, George Dana, Chief Dan Obi, for the expulsion as per the motion raised ably by our elder statesman, citing our constitutional provisions.
The sun was just beginning to rise over Ibadan, its golden rays cutting through the cool morning mist that hung above the ancient city. At the Adamasingba Stadium, the People's Democratic Party, long battered, bruised, and divided, was coming alive. Delegates in colorful agbadas and party wrappers trickled in, their steps deliberate, their faces solemn. They knew history was calling. For years, the PDP had wandered in the desert, held hostage by endless internal wars, bruising ego clashes, and one man whose shadow stretched across the party like a storm cloud, Nyesom Wike. Some feared him, some followed him, many resented him, but everyone agreed his influence had become a weight dragging the party into darkness. But today felt different. Today the air was lighter. Something had broken, something long overdue. As the new national chairman stepped onto the podium, the murmurs quieted. It was not a man backed by Wike or any old warlord. It was someone chosen by consensus, someone symbolizing the rebirth of a party tired of being bullied by a few individuals, a technocrat. Calm, firm, committed. He unfolded his speech slowly, the microphone crackling softly. Today, he said, voice steady, the PDP begins again. The crowd erupted. Some cried. Some simply breathed with relief. Because for the first time in many years, the PDP had done the unthinkable. It had broken free from Wike's stronghold. Not with fear, not with violence, but with unity. The expulsion of Wike and his loyalists felt like the lifting of an invisible hand from the party's throats. For too long, decisions were shaped by personal vendettas, not national vision. Today, the party had declared to Nigeria that the era of internal intimidation was over. In the corners of the stadium, journalists whispered, this might be the moment the PDP finds its soul again. The speech continued, and then came the sentence that shifted the entire nation's political landscape. For 2027, the PDP will consider all credible unifying Nigerians, including Peter Obi. Gasps swept across the crowd. Nigeria had changed since 2023 young people had awakened. Anger had turned to political clarity, and the PDP, once deaf to new voices, was finally listening. Peter Obi's name carried a rare political purity, competence, discipline, trust. For years, he seemed forever outside PDP's orbit, a comet too bright and too straight. But now, with the party free from internal sabotage, the possibility of a coalition, one strong enough to challenge the ruling establishment, felt real, very real. A new chant began slowly in the stands. Hope, hope, hope. The chairman allowed it to rise, swell, and fill the stadium like a hymn. Then he raised a hand. The door is open, he said. Let every honest Nigerian walk through it. The message was clear. Peter Obi was not just welcome. He was wanted not as a token, not as a backup plan, but as a possible standard bearer for a coalition that could unite the South, inspire the North, energize the youth, and reassure the elders. Outside the venue, the wind picked up, blowing through flags, making them snap sharply against the poles. Some said it felt like the wind of change. Others said it felt like a new covenant between a wounded party and a wounded nation. News broke across Nigeria within minutes. PDP reborn. Wike era ends. Obi option gains ground. For the first time in a decade, Nigerians spoke of the PDP without sighing, without shaking their heads, without muttering same old story. There was something in the air, a sense that Nigeria might have a real opposition again. A sense that 2027 might be more than recycling the usual power blocks. A sense that Nigeria's future might not be trapped in the past. As the sun climbed higher over Ibadan, casting long shadows over the stadium, the PDP delegates stood on their feet in a roaring ovation. They weren't cheering for a man. They weren't celebrating revenge. They were celebrating freedom. They were welcoming possibility. They were sensing the first ray of hope in a long, dark night. Wike's chapter was closed. A new one was being written. And somewhere in Lagos or Onitsha or Abuja, Peter Obi was watching the news quietly, thoughtfully, knowing that history had just opened a door that once seemed sealed. Nigeria held its breath because the road to 2027 had just changed forever.